Salutations everyone, welcome to another Overwatch 2 video where today we're going to be talking about Mauga, of course, the tank that we will be getting next season. We got the weekend to play with him for free for everybody, and of course we all got our opinions. We all tried to play the character. We had like Q minutes, as much as 4 minutes for quick play on tank, which is incredible. And it was just a lot of Mauga mirrors, and if your experience was anything like mine, a lot of full holds. This guy is a full hold machine. Granted, there's a lot of things to take into consideration when judging Mauga this past weekend. Number one, brand new character. Everybody's learning him. Even people who don't play tank probably tried him out more so than they did other tanks. It's all going to be mirror matches because everybody wants to try out the new character. Not that I didn't see people play other tanks, and I, of course, myself wanted the entire experience. I played all three roles, both with and against Mauga, including playing different tanks. But yes, a lot of mirrors and people learning the character. And also it's quick play where every character looks good, where every single comp seems playable and doable, because quick play is just, it's a crazy town. It's a true D20. People aren't trying as hard, people aren't caring as much, and you're getting 20 different teammates every game because everybody's quitting non-stop, which is one of the reasons why I do not play quick play very often. But obviously I had to play the boy Mauga, especially, you know, feeling out how he is as a tank player myself, playing as him and against him, both in the mirror and outside of it. Obviously, most of our matches were mirrors, but so many full holds. So many full holds. And of course, also a ton of team kills, because he's a team kill machine. I think he has probably the best tank ult in the entire game. The closest I think you could say would be Ramatra's ultimate. The trade-off there is that, you know, the things that are good against Ramatra's ultimate at times would be Lucio's beat drop and maybe Transcendence from Zen. Those two ultimates don't do shit against Mauga, but Mauga's ultimate can be completely canceled by Sombra's EMP. And obviously, since her rework, I think we're just always going to see a lot more Sombra, and she's good everywhere at every single level. And that, I think, will only increase as people get better with her rework, and people that, you now know that they don't want to play her aren't going to be playing her nearly as much, so those numbers will change around. He gets his ult very, very fast because he does so much damage. Mauga is absolutely the poster child of the best defense is a good offense, because that's all he is. I mean, look at the screen. It's two chain guns. He doesn't have a shield. He doesn't have a damage mitigator outside of his secondary ability, his E, if you will, which does give you a brief fortification, and I think it's a little underrated in how much fortification it does give you. And of course, it heals you and your surrounding teammates when they do damage. So that is how he gets the majority of his sustain. Granted, a lot of supports felt like they had to babysit Mauga. It was like, man, I had to keep healing him, because if I looked away for a second to heal anyone else on my team, he just died. But I think, again, everyone's playing him. We had people who are inexperienced on tank, and, you know, we're trying to find out where he could fit. Is he good at long range, mid range? Should he always dive? Should you never dive? Should you pick your spots? And should you just go crazy and blow both chain guns at once constantly? So, yeah, it's going to be a learning experience for everybody playing with a Mauga and against a Mauga. But I think he's actually going to be a very strong tank. I don't want to oversell him. I think a lot of people are pretty low on him because of how many things are good against him. And I did experience that. I'll have a completely different video talking about the tank matchups, because that is definitely the most important and interesting part of a tank, is how do they play up against other tanks. Especially in the solo queue quick competitive setting. Obviously, it's quick play and everything is going to be a little bit crazier, which you have to take the grain of salt. And another thing that you have to keep in mind is that his kit will change. They said that they're taking feedback from, you know, that weekend where he was playable, and they will most likely adjust things, and I do believe it will be buffs. Some people were quite low on him because, oh, you could poke him out with long range, and I did play a lot of Ashe and Hanzo and had great success against him. You saw there was someone who tried to Widowmaker in that last game. It did not work out well for them. And Mauga is super duper strong up close. He doesn't, I think, have the same kind of follies that Roadhog has. Obviously, Roadhog's rework is coming in a week, so we'll get to see that before we do get to see full, fresh-faced Mauga in the next season. And we'll see if, anyone's stepping on anyone's toes. Granted, people were worried how Mauga would compare against Junker Queen because she also does not have a shield. She doesn't have any sort of mitigation, just a little bit of overhealth, right? And they both want to be close for him to pop off both of his chain guns and for her to use a shotgun because it's a shotgun, right? But she's going to be harder to hit. She has a smaller hitbox, so she's going to be harder to hit both, maybe heals from their own team as well as damage from the enemy team. Whereas Mauga is going to be easier to heal for your teammates and easier to hit for your enemies as well. So again, a bit of a trade-off there. But Mauga has he has a dive ability, to be completely straight with you guys. Compared to Roadhog and Junker Queen, he has much better movement and ability to traverse the map with his ability. It goes pretty far. It goes pretty darn far. You're not going to get like the vertical height of, a Winston leap or something like that, but he can cover some really quick ground. And even if he doesn't get the stun, the quick little earth shatter stun on somebody, it's usually more than enough. If you get onto somebody and are able to blast both chain guns at them, they're just going to melt. They are going to die. Again, best defense is a good offense. And I think the thing is that where people were giving him, the heals and sustain that that pairs well with him, your Life Weavers and your Baptistes, especially Kiriko's to cleanse, because he's going to have the same kind of issues of Roadhog. Big hitbox, right? Easy to sleep, easy to anti. Whereas Roadhog does rely on the mitigation and the healing from the Take a Breather. It's a much better quick fix than Mauga's secondary ability when it comes to keeping you alive. You can't pop that and live a Diva Bomb as well as Roadhog can, and obviously you're not getting immediate heals from it. You're gonna have to deal damage in order to do the heals, and you are getting a bit of a fortify during that time, although most people didn't seem to notice. It is good enough to sustain you and your surrounding teammates for that brief amount of time from like a Junkrat tire, for instance. And as far as ultimates go, he's got, I think, the best in the game, as I said before, and sometimes that's all you need to win a single team fight. He can't go in 1v5 and win it all by himself every time, at the very least, but it's incredibly strong and it lasts forever. You guys might not have noticed because you just get a team kill, you just wipe the team so freaking quickly with this thing, but it lasts so long that it combos way better than anything does with Graviton Surge. Dragons, better. Bastion's ult, better. Pharah Barrage, better. It's just better. I mean, the Graviton can't get stopped by an EMP, which is like the one difference in that aspect, but it lasts for so long. You can get slept at the beginning. They wait you out. You still have enough time to wake up and kill everybody on the enemy team. It's insane. You can pop your ult as Mauga, and then boom, Zen pops his Transcendence, right? It's like, okay, cool. Well, if I'm going to be trapped in here, I'm going to out-heal you. It's going to be great. It outlasts Transcendence and then some, enough to, again, wipe the entire enemy team after Transcendence is over. And not a lot of people were playing Lucio, but Lucio is going to have that big beginning sustain with that overhealth, right? Much like Zen when he is healing, but that is going to expire, and Mauga's also going to be doing damage against that overhealth, as soon as it comes out. So while people do complain about like, oh, EMP completely destroys it, that's really the only thing that can stop it. Tree of Life, with both chain guns, he obliterates Tree of Life with more than enough time and ammo to then, again, wipe the entire enemy team. He is pretty incredible. He's insane. He can be boom or bust. Obviously, he's not going to be great on every map like Queen Street here. Obviously, I'm playing Ashe as I normally would usually on this map, and I played some Hanzo as well. People were putting Discord orbs on him because he was easy to hit, and by the time he got to you, he's going to be quite weak with his health. But there's more than enough answers to get people to switch off of Zen, much like the aforementioned Sombra from before. That is very, very popular, and of course pairs well against a Mauga. So people, I think, are a bit too low on the guy because everyone's still learning him. Not just you, but your teammates as well. Again, not everybody was a master and knew exactly how to dive, when to dive. People were being overzealous, and they're just throwing anything. They wanted to test the limits, right? And I think Mauga will be stronger upon release because a buff just makes more sense to me because that's what they tend to do. I'm going to take a look at what happened with Lifeweaver. He got 2 buffs before he got nerfed, and I did predict that, hey, if the first thing that you should nerf about Lifeweaver, if he is indeed too strong, which I thought he might be, was take away some of his ammo, and that's exactly what they did. And he feels a bit more balanced right now. People are even complaining that they're reloading too much, which I find interesting. So Mauga does need those resources. He is going to need it. He can get poked out. He can get slept, antied, and discorded. So people are going to be running Kiriko's with him, but Kiriko isn't going to give him a lot of heals because she's one of the lower healing output supports in the game. So you're going to have a Baptiste, ideally, to bring up that shortcoming to get the maximum value out of the entire team. His sustain, I think, is a bit underrated because people say, oh, he doesn't have health, or he doesn't have shields, he doesn't have armor. But I think if you give this guy like even as little as 150 armor, he becomes broken. He will become unkillable because you're still going to be healing him, right? And he's going to out-damage everything else in the game outside of a Bastion. At close quarters, even going to do more damage than a Bastion. It can actually duel a Bastion up close if he gets both of his chain guns going. But of course, Bastion is really good with your Mauga, and he's really good against Mauga as well. Obviously, he's going to have better range to poke him out at the beginning in the recon form, and has a great ultimate to pair along with the cage match, just in case you really want to make sure that team fight is won, which of course we're all going to want every now and again to secure that checkpoint, to break that tie, to get that last tick. That's something that we need, to where we do tend to overspend at times. But when you combine anything with Mauga's ultimate, it's going to be the most guaranteed thing in the game. And again, sometimes that's all you need. It doesn't matter if your Mauga goes 9-7, if you win every single team fight that you absolutely need to win because he kept getting his ultimate, and his final blows were just getting stolen by DPS characters, then that's fine. All you need to do is win the game. It doesn't matter how you do it. It might not look pretty. He's going to do a ton of damage, and yeah, he'll have his follies and have his weaknesses. He'll be more easily stopped than other characters, but take a look at the other tanks. He's not the most easily or second most easily stopped tank, or even third until, Roadhog hopefully gets better. But Wrecking Ball gets absolutely destroyed by Mauga. You can't do anything with Wrecking Ball against him. He just gets perma-melted. And Winston's not even as good of a dive tank as Mauga is. Mauga's ability to dive in, stay alive, and do damage completely outdoes anything that Winston can do in any of those categories. His movement gets probably just as much distance, not vertically, obviously. He's not going to do nearly as much damage as Mauga, not even close. And with the bubble, even like pre-nerf bubble, you're not surviving as long as Mauga because he's going to be, close range, doing a ton of damage, healing himself, fortifying, and hopefully getting healed by his teammates and getting some ancillary damage in from the DPS as well. So I think he's strong. I think he'll be good. There'll be some cases where, just like Roadhog right now, you'll be like, oh my god, teammate, this is not the map for this. Please do not play Mauga. That's going to happen. But also, I think people are sleeping on him just a little bit. But of course, we'll all have to see when he does come out in his full, probably stronger form.